Telfit Farm is a 500-acre upland farm. We farm Herdwicks here, which is a fairly recent replacement for the Swaledale, and we have Baltic Galloway cattle, and we are turning the farm into a regenerative farm.
So we first met the Leatham family towards the end of 2023, and it was a really great start to the project because Ben and Ollie had a very clear vision about how they wanted to improve and manage the farm. So they came to the White Rose Forest because they wanted some help developing an agroforestry plan. They were looking to introduce trees into the farm to achieve a wide range of benefits. So our role was essentially to take that plan, take that vision and come up with a detailed design and specification. We came up with like a workable plan for them that met the needs of the farm.
So one of the key goals we have on the farm is to restore natural ecosystems within the habitats that we have on the farm itself. So one of the things we're aiming to do is introduce maximum amounts of biodiversity through a number of different schemes and projects that we have on the farm. So we're digging ponds, we've planted orchards, we're planting all the trees that we're doing in the White Rose Forest. We're having wildflower meadows sown and herbal layers all across the farm. So through those actions, we're hoping to restore and kick-start natural ecosystem processes that we rely on to form our functioning of the farming system itself. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is breaking up the fields into much smaller parcels, utilising the hedgerows and fencing that we're installing and the trees within the parcels themselves. The idea of this is that we'll be able to implement a mob grazing system which will restore our soil health on the farm, help increase cover, which will reduce soil erosion and flooding impacts. So hopefully they'll have massive benefits outside of our own farm, but also in the local area as well.
In the White Rose Forest, one of our key strategic programmes is called Landscapes for Water. And this is a holistic catchment-based approach to planting trees in the locations where they're going to be most effective for reducing flooding downstream. So here at Telfit Farm, we're in the upper swale. The swale joins the Ure, and that in turn joins the Ouse, which is about 60 miles away, just north of York. So what we're doing here at Telfit is planting over 40,000 trees, and this can have numerous benefits, but one of the key ones is improving the water holding capacity of soil and physically slowing the flow to reduce erosion, sedimentation and flooding downstream.
So the message that I would have for people wanting or looking at doing regenerative farming is that there's no doubt the benefits are there to be had, and in the long run it massively increases your farm's strength and resilience to external factors that might influence how your productivity and profitability of your farm is. So impacts from things like the fertilizer crisis, we weren't impacted by that really because we didn't have to buy any fertilizer for our farm. So from our perspective, our resilience as a farming business has massively increased.
So the White Rose Forest has been able to fund through the Trees for Climate programme. We've been able to cover 100% of the capital items, so that's all the fencing, the trees, the tree protection. We've done several upgrades with hardwood stakes. Because it's so windy here, we've been able to cover the majority of the water costs, some of the electrical fencing costs, and all of the aftercare and maintenance.
So the White Rose Forest don't just provide the funds, they oversee the project, they get involved, they advise, and they're very passionate about what they do. I would certainly recommend any other landowner to get in touch with the White Rose Forest. In fact, I've already recommended a number of people to use the White Rose Forest. They are the most obliging, the most accommodating, the most understanding, and the most flexible of any type of grant that I think you can get.